fish.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Huh.
that'd be terrible. Blew up and down.
Okay, so we're ready to start.
Oops, sorry. Oh, I don't have internet access. Hold on. I'm trying to make sure that the stream's working.
Wanna go get your chips and salsa so you can eat while you're here?
All right.
That's nacho cheese.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, it's because this is Wi-Fi.
Sorry, I could have looked in a minute.
If you just
Remember, we had to do something different last
I'm
time.
gonna watch the stream and make sure it's working.
All right. So
That
how
seems
do I
like
do it? How do I? I'm not
Like
used
just
to.
put that on like that, and then stick this in your pocket, or.
So how do I do it? You're making sure it works, huh?
Yep.
I
Okay.
noticed the star pattern in your bushes.
I think it looks like a ginger.
I pushed something.
There you go. Just like that.
Points knocked off of it. It's a
There you go. Yeah, we can hear you just fine. So yeah, it's working good this time.
Okay.
I know. Believe me, I know.
I made sure I put my lipstick on because I knew I was going to be on TV. Is it crackling again?
It works fine on the second video. So we'll just do normal.
Well, it should be able to hear it with the.
It should be fine. It just doesn't.
We got one person watching from home.
Oh, good.
All right, it's good now.
We don't know who's in charge, so we're ready.
You're in charge.
All right, I'll be in charge. All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. Today's lesson is taught by Catherine Anderson on 72-hour emergency car kits. Let's start with the opening prayer. Do I have a volunteer for opening prayer?
I'm a volunteer.
Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for this opportunity to be educated on being more prepared. We're thankful for Catherine and the work she's put into this, and her and Neil. We're thankful for them. And pray thy Spirit will be with us at this time. We say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
You just put that on the table.
Well, I'm just so grateful to be here to visit with everybody about safety when their car. You know, it's winter's coming on and it gets cold. I got a couple of stories. One of them is I'm from Snowville, Utah, which is out in the middle of nowhere, and my people are from Grouse Creek, Utah, which is even another 2 hours out in the middle of nowhere. And my dad was a fish and game officer, and so he traveled all those roads in the days with there's no cell phones. The only time he could communicate was up on a mountain with a radio to Ogden. So he'd be gone for a week. We wouldn't know where, when, who, how. But he had a lot of relatives out there, and he felt comfortable he could stop. But when we would go anywhere or do anything, pack up the horses, go camping, whatever, it would take him a week. Out there, you have to be self-contained. You take your own hay, you take your own water, you take everything. So my Grouse Creek people, they had trunks that looked like this that we have here today. I don't know if you want to show some of the stuff and turn the camera as we talk about it.
The camera's seeing the whole table right now.
Is it seeing all this and all that? Oh wow, wide angle lens. I hope it, you know, slims me up a little bit in the middle. But so.
Oh, it's not seeing over there. So when you go over there, we'll move the camera to that side of the room.
So the one time we were out west, out by Grouse Creek, and my dad had some horses, and we were going up the. I didn't bring it, but he had some sandbags. It started to rain, and so he was able to put sandbags and sticks and different things under his tires, so we got unstuck and got out of there, because it was in the middle of nowhere. And because we're members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we all said a very fervent prayer as well. And so through our effort and work and through the prayers that were heard, we were able to get out and get home. So my aunts, like I was saying, my Aunt Velma, she had all this in her trunk. A lot of this was inherited too, because when they came from Grouse Creek, there were no homes, nothing coming into town. Most of the time you'd get a flat tire too on the gravel roads. So, but we're hoping to have some of what works for you and if you like things or don't like things. So it's an open discussion, that kind of thing. I've sent out a paper, emergency preparedness paper. I hope all of you have the checklist. And then also it suggests that we have emergency phone numbers. You know, with cell phones, I don't even have my children's phone numbers memorized. So I scribbled them down on a piece of paper, and they want it to be laminated, but I just wrote them down freehand. And then I also have the little stickers for you to call the sheriff, police, and fire. It's a non-emergency, and of course if it's emergency, dial 911. But I have all my friends and family on here because I don't even know their phone numbers. So I was thinking about that. So that's what's on here. So let's go, and I'll try to talk loud so that the camera can hear me. We'll just talk about a few things that I like in my camping. Most of the stuff that I have up here on the tables is on the list. And one of the things that I like to do is to have a big bag, and did I bring one up? No. So I like to keep my stuff in bags so that I can just grab a bag, you know, and if I have too much groceries, I'll take my 72-hour kits out so I can fit my groceries and then put them right back in. So sometimes I have most of this in bags, and if the water spills in the back of my car or something, everything doesn't get all wet. Okay, so first of all, we just talk about this flashlight. It's kind of cool. It has, there's supposed to be a place you can do USB ports. Oh yeah, it's right here. It charges with a USB, and then that's its charger right there. But it's supposed to last for a year, and it's a magnet, so you can like fix your car. If your car's broke or something, you can put it on the roof of your car, and it's solar powered as well. And I just bought that up at a craft store. And what's the company? Hybrid Light. So has a little button, which I don't know where it's at. I'm gonna let my people check on it.
It's very bright for how little it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You figured out how to turn it on.
It lasts for a year. What are you worried about?
I'm nervous. I can't get it off. So I did diapers, and that is on. Those kind of items are on the list. But you know, things for kids. And then of course we live on a farm, so we have to have baling twine so we can fix anything, and probably barbed wire. This is an inflatable light. I sent it to Brazil. It kind of looks like this, and it pops up, and it's very bright, and it's solar as well. and this one's solar as well. And it's very compact. You know, it goes down and has a few settings, brightness or whatever. So that's a solar light. It has a little handle, pretty cute. These are glow sticks, that's on your list, and WD-40. This is what it looks like for that device that cuts your seat belt. And then it has a little deal that breaks the window. So I don't know if it works, but that's what.
You didn't test it? I had a friend of mine was driving his car and went across the river. There was too much, and he started going down the thing into a lake. He couldn't break. He had to be shot. So that's the truth. I mean, what do you do? Yeah, you have to have something to do that with.
Get your Leatherman out, all you farmers, and you know, with that. Then these are glow sticks. You break them, and they emit quite a bit of light, you know, and then you could give them to your kids. You know where they are when they're running around the car in danger or whatever. I don't know. And
you know how long those last, as far as like.
Well, we can turn off the light and see if it still glows.
If you didn't break it, how long do they last?
I don't think they'll last over a couple hours, most of them.
But I mean, as
Just
far as
in
like,
storage.
Oh, I don't know.
They should last quite a
They're
while. They're
chemical-based,
sealed.
So I imagine as long as it doesn't get broken, they'd probably last for a
We've
long
had some
time.
for years that still light up.
I
In
would
the
think
small
they would
ones
last
even.
quite a while. I
That's a
don't know
great
how long.
idea.
Yeah.
Get those things. I hadn't even thought about that.
That's Brother Smith. He's talking. He's here tonight. Okay, you push this button on the top, and then you know how they have triangles sometimes when you get in an emergency or something? So there's that one, and then there's strobe lighting, all kinds of different lighting systems. We just got this on Amazon, but guess what? It also is magnetized. Da, 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 da. So you can set it on your car, or you know, you can put all three of these. They come in a kit. This was with it, and this breakable thing was
There's
with
a
it.
whistle,
There was a whistle.
a couple short screwdrivers. They're in the top of that cover thing. Is
Yeah.
what the red cover, that right there.
The red one right in front
Ah,
of him.
this. Yeah, there's a whistle. There's extra batteries. Oh, there's some keys that have screwdrivers on them. So it was a cute little kit. Now, I just want to do a little thing that we have collected all these items over a long period of time. And with Christmas coming, you know, you might want to buy one item or something. But we've collected these over a long period. Right away. This is one of our favorite jackets. It folds up and goes into a little pocket. This is also a flashlight type of deal. It pops up similar to this one right here. Here's a little first aid kit. And then here's a flashlight if you want to go that way without. And here's all the batteries, extra batteries for it. This is a life straw to filter water. And this is what Caleb used when he was in Brazil on his mission too. And we have one of those for every family member to purify water and drink water. There's these Patriot phone charging deals, and they are like this, and they're solar. So you plug your cell phone stuff in there, and then you can charge your cell phone. So those, but if you buy one, they want to sell you every kit in America, because that's what happened to me. This is a little fire extinguisher highway, and his front of his truck started to smoke. You know, this would have been really helpful because it burned up his engine or whatever. So this is a hatchet from the old Kimber clan. So, you know, to cut wood or whatever you need to. Let's see, this is another flashlight. Ta-da! There you go. And then this is a battery operated doohickey. that is a flashlight too. I don't know. I think I'm gonna fire it because it doesn't have a magnet. I don't even know if I can carry that around. Everything I have has to stick to the blackboard. Then they say, this is my old cell phone. It's still alive, and I keep it charged. Because it goes with my watch, and so it's telling me that they say that you can dial 911 from these old cell phones.
That's true.
Does everybody want to vote on that?
That's true.
Okay.
That's true,
Yeah.
yes.
So, car, and then if you get stranded, I have a charger in my car, or you have all these, you can plug it in with a cell phone and call 911. This is a radio. We bought this one year at Christmas. Have to break it out. It's solar powered and has AM, FM, that kind of thing. So we've never had to use it, thankfully, but we have it. Umbrella. This is our buddy burner. I love this. This is where you go. This is when I went backpacking in the Grand Canyon. That's all you can have. You can't have fires. And I took it out of the camping kit and put it in my car. And don't let Neil see that I carry this around my car, because if it ever blows up. But you know, it folds out and it goes into a little stove, and so then you can boil life straw. You know, I love this little thing because when we went camping and backpacking, that's what we used.
It'll boil water in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, it boils water like that. It's amazing. It's a cool little device.
It's been on a lot of scout trips too.
Yeah.
Would that be a good thing to have inside as part of your food storage? As
Well-
how long would one of, like, what could you cook on how much gas is in there?
Well, your family will probably need about 5 of them. Sister Ray, Sister Hofstrand. But you could put a pretty big pot on them, and it'll heat pretty well in those emeries.
One of those cans will last about 3 hours usually.
Yeah,
And you can buy taller cans.
Yeah.
yeah, it would be a very good thing. Everyone's voted, and yes, it's going to be a good thing. This is a fold-up shovel, and one time our son got stuck in the sand dunes in Idaho, and he had to dig himself out. So that was helpful.
I would recommend on the shovel, testing it out before you put it in your car. I bought one before and I tried using it. The first time I tried to use it, it folded in half. And like,
Well, you just didn't buy as good.
it was a cheap one. For,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to buy a
Just
good
buy
one that
good
really
quality.
works
you just
well.
want to buy a good quality one.
They
and test
have
it,
one
make sure
that
it's
is
not
like a snow
gonna fall
shovel
apart.
looking thing at Costco right now, and there's 2 of them, and I might get another Christmas present for Neil. You never know. I like to have this in my car because sometimes I stop my car and I want to go on a hike, you know, so I can just put that on, and I'm coming to my Camelback portion of my program. I just put scissors in.
You missed your cold compresses over there.
Oh, what are those?
They're over to the right.
Under the little red thing.
Zoom the camera.
Under the red thing.
Oh, yeah. We ordered these online. And let's say you have someone with a sprained ankle or something like that. It's like a hand warmer, and you crush it so it's cold for you. So if you had your hand warmers, yeah. Oh, and I missed the radios too.
That'd be good in the summer when
And
kids get too hot.
this is a life straw too. It's drinking water too. I saw this whole table. Oh, and then the radios. That's what the batteries were for that I showed you. This is pretty good set of radios. You can use it with your grandkids at Christmas and test them out. But if you know on radios there's different frequencies. Let's say you're out of cell phone range or something. You can call somebody on a radio, on one of these hand radios, because they have a lot of frequencies. They're kind of cool. So, did I miss anything else?
No.
All right. So these are pants. They actually go with the coat. So they're like slick pants if it's raining. Of course, on your list was a Leatherman and a sewing kit. It's one of my favorite things to have along. It's amazing how often I use that thing. Oh, sorry, that was an X-Acto. No, that's yours, isn't it? Yeah, this was contributed by Neil. You can tell because it has farmer scratches. And then this is the old Leatherman that nobody wants that I inherited. So that's what that is. There's whistles, all different kinds of whistles. This one is one of my favorites. Oh, that sewing kit's everywhere. Because it has a compass and a whistle and a place that you can put matches and a flashlight. See, a wimpy flashlight, but it's got one. And I don't know why I bought it because it doesn't magnetize to the chalkboard, so it's worthless. Everything's got to magnetize. This is one of my favorite whistles too. It has a temperature deal, and I have a lot of whistles because sometimes I used to have little Cub Scouts go with me, and I'd have to pass out the whistles to everybody. Of course, there's just regular flash whistle. Here's the emergency waterproof matches, and I have toothpaste and toothbrush. That's kind of weird, but I guess I want to do dental hygiene when I'm out. It's sitting in my emergency car. There's moleskin. I got some straps, warm gloves because it's getting winter. Make sure you have warm gloves. More whistles. And then this is for bears. So you hang up your food so that the bears can't get to your food. And so that has the cord in it too, the paracord if you need to make a tent or, you know, something like that. So I thought that was a cute little kit. Moleskin. Oh, here's the bear whistle. You got to make sure that you have this on you when you're hiking so that the bears run away. And you got to have bear spray. And you got to have bear spray. What?
So the bears can find you.
So the bears can find you. Yeah, I don't know, but that's what they say. There's mosquito spray, and it's a good thing I was cleaning out my car today. I think I have 6 cans of mosquito spray in my car. Of course, we live in Lakeshore, but I have plenty of mosquito spray. If you want to pass her these 2 things for me, that would be helpful. So this is money. You know, in the old days, you just had to use a payphone, but let's just say you got to buy a hamburger or something, you know, and your credit card's lost or something. Then you got some cash. One time I went up for a snow cone, and I got up there without my purse, and I just pulled this out and paid for the snow cone. It was a real emergency. You got to have extra money in your car just in case. This is a pen and paper. Here, this is a really nice compass. It's one of my favorites. I duct taped it together because it busted, but that's a really nice compass. I like that one. Here's a spoon and a fork. It's made by Spork. Yeah. Some Band-Aids. Here's another little Leatherman, a small one. You can put it on your belt. And then this is a strike plate to start a fire. And I'll show you one of my favorite things in a minute. Here's a walking stick. You know, I might get in a good mood and go for a walk. We went to Zion's National Park, and I had nothing, nada. And, because we got on the bus, right, at Zion's. And so I got there, and I was like, I left all my stuff in my car. So I went into the gift shop, and I bought me a water bottle holder. So I had water to go to Zion's National Park.
That's nice.
That's pretty cool. So I keep that in my car in case I get a wild hair to go on a hike or something. Then they say on the list to have clothes. So I went and found some wool socks and a change of clothes. It's my car and I don't have kids anymore, so I just have to have one change of clothes. Neil will just have to be on his own and wear the waterproof stuff.
The
if something
plastic
happens.
pants.
the plastic pants. This is extra plastic bags, garbage bags, and feminine things and some Kleenexes. I have to tell you a little story. I was going down the Benjamin Road and there was a farmer and of his truck, his big ton truck, it was he hadn't got it shut all the way. So he's going down the road like this, grain everywhere, right? It was actually corn possibly. And I zoom up in my car, you know, you're losing all your stuff, you know. So he pulls over, and you know what? We stopped. Bags in the back of the car. I had all these kind of bags like this, and I had grocery bags, and we just shoved them in that hole. You know, we had a whole pile of corn by the time we got done with it, but you might need them for the neighbors that are losing their corn, you know. So, of course, alcohol wipes for sure. I carry those all the time right now, and I like the for sure alcohol ones. I think they get the germs the most, you know, with what we're going through. This is my picnic basket. One day, Sister Ray Hofstrand and her kids call me up and they say, hey, meet us at Costco, let's go get a hot dog or whatever. So I'm like, I got a picnic bag. So I went over there and I had a tablecloth. I just grabbed my bag, went over there, and I had silverware, I had napkins, I had paper towels, I had everything that you need for a picnic. And I just, this is what I had, was all these plastic things. So they had their own little kit, you know, took it from going out to eat or whatever. We have hand sanitizer in there. And so we just had a nice little picnic, and everybody thought we'd planned it and was all prepared. But some of the things that it talks about is jerky. It's like packets, they're really yummy. Different kinds, you know, turkey and beef and chicken, I don't know. And then I have invested in some dried things. I feel like if I'm stranded, I would eat them if I had to, but probably not. The problem is you didn't do it, and the other problem is they've been in because, you know, I threw away 2 or 3 boxes of granola bars that were so hard you couldn't even probably chew them with your teeth today. I gotta clean. It was really helpful to clean out my my car today, actually. Snacks, that's a lot of fun. This is a really good auto kit. We might let Neil talk about that in a minute. And then when I was in Relief Society and I was a young married, Laura Taylor had us make these first aid kits, and it's in a fish and tackle box, and I've had it for a long time. You can see it's really well used. I just keep it in my car, and I have, you know, Tylenol, Advil, dental floss, Epicac, which I probably need to trade out, so it probably is a little old, but you know, I have a snake bite deal in there. I have ointments, rubber gloves, and I love it. I have had this in my car forever. And then this is a small one, just a small first aid kit. You can get those wherever you want. And I always have a hat. Always have a hat. In fact, I have little cap hats. I didn't bring them, but for the little scouts or whoever comes with me, and like, we gotta have hats. We're gonna get sunburns if we don't. I always keep this coat in my trunk. This is my coat, and it has gloves, headband. You know, if I'm like don't want to wear my nice clothes or something, and I'm out picking pumpkins or something, I can just throw this on. And then, you know, it has a hood. I love that it has a hood. You know, I have really serious gloves, Kleenexes, whatever in here. So I just always have this in my trunk, always. And I always keep this hat in my trunk because you can hike a long ways if you're not too hot, you know. And then of course, I always have the BYU blanket in my trunk. And I use it over everything, you know, the cold things that I bring from town, I just throw the blanket over it. I use this blanket all the time, you know. So that's probably my, oh, this one last thing. This is my toolkit for my car. Same thing, a fish and tackle box. Has all my dad's things. This is my dad's pocket knife. He made this little leather thing. So it's my favorite knife. And has a little toolkit. It has my dad cut this hammer off. This is my dad's hammer. I love. Oh, I didn't know I had this.
I guess you don't need one.
I know. I said,
She
Neil.
told me today she needed one.
I told Neil. I said I need one of these. It's on the list. I'm so proud of myself. But oh, one thing I didn't talk about was maps. You need to always have a map because you might not have your cell phone. Just pretend you don't have your cell phone. You might need a map, you know, how to get out of. Always take a map when you go hiking or in the outdoors or something like that. And then of course, kit, I have pliers, Gorilla Glue, matches, waterproof matches. But the big thing that I have in my first aid kit is consecrated oil. I always carry that with me too. So I always have that. So that's my portion of the program. So that's Neil's portion of the program.
I'm not good. But jumper cables. She actually has 2 sets of jumper cables.
Show
in her
him the
car.
nice set. Show him the no, the other set.
These are better jumper cables than you'll get in some of these sets.
Yeah.
You know, these sets are okay for an emergency, but in fact, even in my truck, I've got a pair that are heavier than these because I use them all the time. And so, but that's a really good thing to have.
I told Neil I don't want the wimpy jumper cables. You give me some good ones.
So she's got these plus another. This is a kit we saw at Costco just the other day. It's $40. It's got a little first aid kit in it, jumper cables, the triangles. She talked about kind of an air inflator. It's got that all in there. Pretty good little kit. I think we're gonna end up giving that away to one of our kids for Christmas probably. So, and this is just a regular inflator. I haven't used that yet, but I know somebody that's got one about like it. You know, pretty nice to have.
Inflate your
if you need it.
tires.
A can of air. It's also a sealant. I don't like to use these, but in an emergency, it might be a good thing. Good thing to have. I don't like to put sealant in my tires, but you know, if it saves you and gets you out of somewhere, that's okay. Fuses. Good thing to have in your car. I remember we was on a trip to Monticello, and we had too many electronic devices going on in the car. That was back a long time ago too, and the kids kept blowing fuses and we had them so anytime they blew it. But you know, a good thing to have.
Tell us how you tell if it's burned out in the car.
It's got the regular ones and the minis. You see that wire that goes across in the middle?
Yeah.
If that's gone,
Oh, sorry.
if that's not connected, it'll.
Where are they in the car? I wouldn't
Yeah,
know
where-
what to do.
Yeah.
Right there.
And she asked me the same thing. Best thing to do is your operator's manual in your car. If you'll go in there and find fuses, like if your radio don't work, sometimes your headlights will quit because they burn a fuse, and you can go into your and here there's some of these kind of fuses are hard to get out. This kit's got a fuse puller in it. You can stick it in and pull them right out, and it'll even tell you which one if you know something's burned out. But I think that's a pretty good thing to have. So
Even if somebody stops to help you, you can say, "Here's my fuse kit. Go fix it."
That's what I would be doing.
This is just a small toolkit that she's got in her car. I like mine a little bit,
So the camera
and
can
it's
see.
not too much bigger, but you know it's got a hammer, vice grip pliers, needle. That one's about $40 at Harbor Freight. It's not something you want to use all the time, but it's a pretty good thing to use in an emergency, or I even end up using it a lot more than I thought I would. So, you know, just nice thing to have. I think we've about covered everything, haven't we?
And one thing I see you're missing is duct tape. Because
I
you can-
know we
you can-
have some.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
It's in here.
You fixed everything with duct
We
tape,
have
can't
some.
you?
It's over there in my
Yeah.
kit.
Duct tape, billing twine, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I mean,
It is,
it's-
duct tape's great.
You can use it for, you know, bandages. You can use it for splints. You can use it for fixing your hoses, and
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, it really, it's a fix-all, really, it is.
Our
Yeah.
son made a raft out of one year out to Scouts. He got some boards and such and duct taped it together and made a raft.
Yeah.
He can do anything with duct tape. Well,
Any questions?
yeah. Any experiences anybody's had?
The one thing that for your car is the radiator stop leak. That no, I don't like to put that stuff in there either. But
In an emergency.
in an emergency, it's, you know, it'll get you out off the mountain.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
And if you're
happens.
going to remote places, it might be good. It might be good to do that. I know we've got to the point. She talked about Grouse Creek. We've got out there and have flat tires, and a temporary spare doesn't work very good. If you're going very far out away, it might be good to have a full size spare and check your spare.
that's
I've had it happen to me
I have
before
that.
where I went to put a spare tire on, it was flat.
And your jack.
Or your jack, make sure you've got
Oh,
a
yeah.
jack.
Yeah.
You know.
And my
So-
dad had a full-size jack. He didn't mess around with what they put in your car now.
And sometimes they're hard to get the lug nuts off because
Yep.
they tighten them so hard though
That's true.
for wimpy people.
Teach your kids how to change a tire and, you know, how to change the oil and, you know, all that kind of stuff. When I was on my mission, he trained us on all that stuff as sister missionaries, how to take care of our car.
Fix it
Do our
for
kids know how to change a tire?
And they better.
That's your job now.
They'll probably call me on the phone. How do I change this tire?
So does anybody have any stranded stories or anything?
We did, when I was a kid, we got stranded in the desert. I got heat stroke.
No.
Because we were out in the desert for hours waiting for a tow truck. This is before cell phones and before anything. And so we had to wait for a long time. My dad had to walk like a mile or two down the road to they had like phones on the side of the road, like emergency phones. And so he had to walk way down there, and we were all just waiting outside. And this is down in Las Vegas, and so it was like 110 degrees outside. So we finally got to the hotel, and I'm like completely out of it. And I had heat stroke, and it took me, you know, I was out all night, and it was better the next day. But heat stroke can be really dangerous. But
You can.
We need the ice packs.
there's these cooling towels. Have you seen those cooling? You're gonna be like in hot areas. They just evaporation. You just get them wet with a little bit of water, and they can keep you cool.
Cooling towels. I'm translating for the camera.
About leaving the car. Is it better to stay with your car, you think, or how long? I don't know. I know there's every situation is different, but
Well, I think you should stay with your car, especially in a snowstorm, and then you need to check if the snow keeps getting higher on your exhaust. You got to go clear the snow away from your exhaust, or it will fumigate you in the car. So that's a little.
It's a lot easier to spot your car than to spot a person in general when they're searching where you are. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of
But most of the time they recommend staying with your car.
Yeah.
But especially if you've told somebody where you're gonna be, which is probably a good thing to do. than if somebody does come looking for you. But you know, we're a little different here with the mountains and stuff, but you know, like we talked earlier, cell phones have changed a lot of things.
What was that tip about cell phones that if your cell phone's gonna die, you should hurry and change your voice message on your phone because people, when they call your phone, can still hear your voice message.
Oh,
That's a good. I haven't
That's a
never
good
heard
idea.
of that. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
But they said it does take less power to send a text, so try and send a text first and then change, like, then do your voicemail. But just because it takes less data to send a text than it does to change your voicemail.
Well, the thing about a text, if you send it, sometimes if you finally get into, it won't always, but it'll try and resend it sometimes, and so if you hit service, it might send it, possibly.
Yeah, so both things are good.
those radios saved me one time. It's amazing, those two-way radios, how far they go.
They do.
They will go as long as you know, especially if you're up on the hill. They will go a long way.
Can we hear your story?
We were up Fairview snowmobiling, and this guy I was with hadn't ridden snowmobiles before. Anyway, he started going down a ravine, and he got down to the bottom, and I'm like, there's no way out, you know. And it was too much snow, we couldn't get out. And I knew the way over to the Skyline Highway there, you know, but it was about 3 miles away. Anyway, we had those radios but we couldn't get to because the mountain was between the cabin and us at the time. Anyway, we hiked over, caught a road down into Fairview, and we were able to get on the radio and call my parents clear up there because there's no phone service or nothing up there. And so that was the only way they knew where we were. It was the only way they could come down and pick us up, and I couldn't believe how that worked. It was amazing.
And there's a lot of options. I had a group of scouts up in the Wind Rivers, and we had a couple scouts that were slow that I was with, and I had a radio and we had 2 other radios, and we had GPSs at those times too. I was able to tell them exactly where we were, and they came and took our packs for us, and made it easier for us to go. And so, you know, there's a lot of different ways.
Neil had 3 backpacks, his own and 2 boys, because they were out of gas. They were out of shape.
But I was able to talk to my son on the radio, and also Grant too was with us, and I talked to both of them, and they told them our exact coordinates, and they came right to us and kept us from sleeping on the trail that night.
One time in our town, they went up to the Black Pine Mountains. Some girls just went up there to their dad's property, whatever, and the truck stopped. So it's getting late, and he finally decided that he better go look for him or whatever, but he didn't get there till 1, 2 in the morning. It was staying with your vehicle is important, because what they did is they took the seat covers off the seats and they put those over as their jackets and coats to keep them warm. So just innovation is good. But if you have a blanket and some hand warmers and, you know, things like that, then you can last at least a day or 2, maybe. So him and his son went deer hunting up in Strawberry Ravine, and it snowed and they couldn't get back out. And so they did actually leave their vehicle and went to a sheep herder's cabin, and there was a mattress on an old spring bed, and they put that over the top of them, and they had some flour and they made ash cakes. And they were there because the snowstorm was 2 days or something, and nobody could go find them. And then on Sunday the weather cleared, and we had some pilots in our ward, the Mellers, and they took the plane and looked for them, and they had gathered some wood and some things, and they made some fires, and they found them.
Actually found an old tire.
Yeah.
They put on the fire and put out a lot of smoke.
And they had snowmobiles on the ground, and the GPSs were just coming out at that time, and so they were able to do the GPS coordinates and find them with the snowmobiles and bring them in. And they didn't even have soccer meeting. They just said everybody get on their snowmobiles and go find them. So it was crazy. And he was a big scouter too, you know, and he had all this stuff and, you know, everything that just made do for 2 or 3 days in a snowstorm. It's crazy. It could happen to anybody.
And also on your phones, you can, if you're going to a specific area, you can pre-load the maps in your phone too, so that it's, you know, because when you don't have cell service, you don't have the map, but if you preload it, it's in there. And they work pretty good too, if you know where you're going. That way as well, I guess.
Well, I don't want a tracker on my so I'm not gonna put one on my phone.
Buy it at Costco,
You see when the bill comes?
She gets in trouble all the time because I charge card on my phone.
Immediately.
It just follows the money.
Yeah, just order something off of Amazon, they'll come up and get you.
I have to order from my slush fund when I take cash. Well, that's all we have, and we hope that you all stay safe.
Oh, awesome. Thank
One
you.
of the big things in the first aid kits that they're telling us as far as, and this may, I don't know, this is a few years ago at least, but the tourniquet is a big deal now. They really, really suggest all first aid kits have a tourniquet. We used to shy away from them, like, oh, you're gonna, you know, lose your arm or whatever, you know, you're gonna die. But it comes back. It really doesn't create that much of a problem. I mean, if you're there, you know, many days, it'll probably lose your arm, but they are really, especially for, you know, traumatic injury, a gunshot, accidental gunshot, or you know, severe cut or something like that. And they're only, you know, a few bucks, and they're really small, and so that might be something to add to those things. They really suggest using those the tourniquets now. They didn't used to do, at least when I was in scouting. But I guess they found out in all these wars and things like that.
You still use a belt?
Yeah, you use a
yeah.
belt. The ones they have they're pretty neat. They're just like a zip Velcro thing you put around your thing, and they got a little you just twist it up, and then you put it back on there. Yeah, and so it's really they're small, and it's a good thing to have, especially for, you know, probably wouldn't put around your neck, but.
What about duct tape? You can do everything with duct tape.
Absolutely.
You can use duct tape.
Yeah.
For tourniquets, you can make your own really easily out of a old ratchet strap. So you just take just a small one. You just take the ratchet and you just shorten it so that it loops around to itself, and then you can put it on to your. You know, you can use it with one hand even if you don't have one arm, and then you can put it on, ratchet it up, and then you've got a little handy tourniquet.
That's another good thing, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. I always seem to need those straps.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I need to get some more. I gave a couple away when I was up at my son's last time, so I need to go buy some more. But they're good.
Well, this might only apply to me because I'm out with a million little tiny kids, but you guys all have family that has little kids. But I think it's really important to have a baby carrier for every child that can't walk a long distance. I always go out with my double stroller, but I found myself in a few situations when I've taken my stroller out to do groceries, and the next day we're out somewhere, and I have twins, but I have 2 baby carriers, and I put one on the back and one on the front, and as long as they're strapped in, I know where they are. They're safe, and because they can't walk very far. But you can get a good carrier that can hold, you know, a 4-year-old child or a 5-year-old child, and if you're hiking, you think you probably don't need it, they can walk that far, but if something happens, put them on your back and get to where you need to go. And it also helps with body heat too, keeps everybody warm.
So you don't think that thing from Zion's with one water bottle is going to work for your family?
You might have to sew a few together.
Yeah.
Good idea. And I always have diapers, and you know, you always have your 72-hour children's kit in your car. Extra clothes, extra food, extra diapers, all that stuff. that's just a given when you got all those kids.
Yeah, we went packed up everything to go on a trip for the weekend. I'm like, this is what we take for one day to go to a museum. This is how much stuff it is.
Get used to it.
They tease me all the time about all the stuff I take, but you know what? They use it and they want it, but oh mom, did you bring blah blah blah? You know, and you're like, yep, there it is.
When we go on a trip, we have to go in my truck so we can fit everything. So.
Yeah. And he wanted to get a short bed truck. I said, no way, we need a long bed truck. We got a lot of stuff when we go places. So I don't know if you want a closing prayer. I don't know how you do.
Yeah. Thanks for teaching it. Let's go ahead and have a closing prayer. Any volunteers?
Our Heavenly Father, we're grateful this day for the opportunity we've had to meet together today to discuss the emergency preparedness and the importance of being prepared. We ask that we will, thy Spirit be with us and guide us and to lead us to prepare and to know what we need to do to be prepared for the emergencies that are sure to come. We're grateful for the preparing this, and we're so grateful for the Andersons and what they've done to do this. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen. I had to buy a new backpack to bring everything. A new. How do we stop this
There's
now?
plenty of nachos if you guys want some more nachos.
Nachos.
Have you noticed that the Harbor Freight stuff is starting to go up a lot?